As I found myself struggling to stay afloat in the icy waters, my strength waning, the weight of my soaked clothes and shoes dragging me down, panic threatened to engulf me. The freezing temperature made it nearly impossible to catch my breath, and the effort to swim felt futile. All I could do was fight to stay above the water's surface. In that desperate moment, I gazed up at the full moon, its luminous glow casting an ethereal light on the horizon. With a heartfelt plea, I whispered to the heavens, "I believe in you. God, please don't let me perish like this." Exhaustion and fear threatened to claim me, and my body succumbed to the bitter cold. My lungs felt like they might burst, and my mind began to slow down, surrendering to the overwhelming fatigue. In a last-ditch attempt to find release from the torment, the words, "Release me," echoed in my thoughts. And then something extraordinary happened. I was suddenly freed from the confines of my physical body, the pain and exhaustion melting away like a distant memory. I stood beside my lifeless form, aware of my existence as a being without a physical presence, yet still very much myself. Without conscious volition, I found myself gliding through a portal, an interdimensional passage that defied earthly directions. It wasn't up or down, but rather an otherworldly journey into and through a mysterious realm. My awareness led me to a place that seemed like a waiting room, though nothing like any earthly waiting room I'd ever known. It was cloaked in darkness, yet I sensed the presence of others nearby. In the dimness, I perceived an older lady and a young boy, not with my eyes, but with a deeper sense of knowing. They, like me, existed without physical forms but retained a unique essence that defined them. These beings, strangers to me yet somehow familiar, acknowledged my presence without interaction. We shared a profound connection in that ethereal space, as if brought together by some unseen cosmic force. The sequence of events becomes hazy here, but I believe another transformation occurred, or perhaps the place itself shifted while my essence remained unchanged. The experience defied explanation, but its impact was profound, leaving me forever altered by a glimpse into a realm beyond our earthly comprehension. It was like a wondrous dream, but it felt so real and meaningful. As I drifted further into this enchanting realm, a teardrop-shaped orb approached me, gleaming with clarity and significance. It seemed almost alive, as if holding secrets of the universe within its radiant core. As the orb drew nearer, I couldn't help but focus on its exquisite colors. With each moment, the hues started to swirl and blend, forming breathtaking images that stirred memories deep within my being. It was like a flood of understanding and recognition washed over me, bringing answers to questions I didn't even know I had. Though I can't quite put into words what it all meant, I can tell you that it felt like a revelation, leaving me relieved and content. The orb, having bestowed its profound wisdom, bid farewell, and I found myself gliding through another mystical portal. And there, in that sacred space, I encountered someone truly special. Him. Now I find comfort in referring to him as Christ, for he exuded a love and warmth beyond measure. It was as if I had come home and he knew me intimately just as I knew him. Our connection was profound, like a long-lost reunion of dear friends. Imagine being a young child, around 4 years old, feeling lost and suddenly finding your beloved mom. That overwhelming sense of relief and joy, knowing she cares for you deeply and nothing else matters. That's precisely how I felt in his presence. His love for me was boundless, and he adored me just as I was, embracing every part of me no matter how imperfect I felt. It's challenging to express the magnificence of his being, for he wasn't merely a person. He was a luminous light, emanating intelligence, love, healing, and comfort. In his radiant presence, I felt safe and nurtured, as if the worries of the world melted away. He shared his wisdom with me, and I couldn't take my eyes off his beautiful form, outlined in the most loving light I've ever known. To me, he appeared more masculine, and so I affectionately refer to him as he. Every time I reminisce about this extraordinary encounter, my heart fills with joy, and I can't help but smile. I yearn for everyone to know and experience this boundless love and light, for it's more real and tangible than anything we could grasp with our hands. I wish we could all feel the embrace of his radiant presence where worries vanish, and all that remains is an overwhelming sense of peace and love. Anyway, we started communicating. We didn't need to speak words. It's a very limited form of communication, you know? I just had a thought or a feeling, and he acknowledged it, and me with him. Very simple, very pure. I don't recall the exact entire exchange, but I remember the gist of it. He told me I was going back and why it was to be that way. As he was letting me know this, something was happening past him. It was like being in a dark room, cracking the door open just a bit, revealing the light coming in from the hall just outside that room. That's what was happening. We were in the dark room and the door was cracking open to reveal this place that was attracting my being like a moth to the flame. And what he was saying didn't matter because I just wanted to go there. I had to go there. I belonged there. He sobered me a bit with the reality of the situation. I had to go back. The funny thing was, I knew that I could defy him. I knew I had the will to say, no, I'm going through that door. But I also knew that he was right and that I had to go. As soon as I resigned to go rather than defy him, the decision was made. We instantly and with great force moved away from the light. As we were moving, I watched him in amazement. He looked very much like a god in the form of a lightning bolt. So handsome and strong and powerful. There we were back in the river next to my body, and without hesitation, he put his mouth over my body's mouth and breathed life back into it, and in an instant, he was gone as if he had never even been there. I felt his absence. It was so dark, cold, lonely, and pointless without him. I watched my body come up to catch my first breath. It was awful to watch this body come up for a breath of air. It looked so haggard and grotesque, like a nightmare. As soon as I filled my lungs with air, I jumped back into my body. I didn't will it. It just happened. Instantly, I felt the mind-numbing, burning pain and exhaustion that inflamed my body. I heard a voice say, "Float on your back." I mustered up all the energy I had to flop my body over so that I was in the position to float on my back. I looked up at the moon and thought, as long as I can see the moon, I know I'm alive. And with that thought, I blacked out. I woke up motoring closer to the shore. I was moving so fast that it couldn't have been me moving, but something propelling me. I felt a pain on my right side between my ribs and underarm, as if I had all my weight bearing on a log and the bark was scratching up my skin. I looked at that area, but that area where I felt the log under me was hollow. So I extended my left arm over to my right side, between my chest and arm. There was nothing there, but I felt it. The pressure of my weight bearing down on top of the log so that the bark of the tree was tearing, scratching into my skin. This was real, but there was nothing to be seen. I looked all around me, nothing but me in the river and me motoring toward shore, but I was upright in the water and my legs were still. I was not the one doing the moving, but I was moving. My feet touched the high ground and I scattered out of that water and up the shore as if something in the water was after me, trying to turn me into a midnight snack. The water was so cold that when I got out and was exposed to the air, my skin felt like it was on fire. I looked back out into the water, but there were no logs to be seen anywhere. Nothing was in the water to help explain how I was propelled to shore.